I am now Lorta.
How do you think it's pronounced? Do you think it's Luarta?
I think so. Is it Lortra or Lorta?
Because where was the T before?
Yeah, let me look.
R? Luarta.
All I can say is it's hilarious. Given my day.
I am obviously like starting to feel better because I am way over communicating. You're not over communicating with me, but
What is that? Like, I know no such thing.
Yeah,
I don't. No such thing.
Not quite all the way there yet. What's going on with these eyebrows, man? All right. What are we doing in here? Talking about movies.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Can you see the do you have access to the comments?
Oh, there they are. Hi, everybody. I was over on the private chat. It was so quiet. Hey.
Hello, everybody. What movie are we talking about? The number 23. Should I put that on the list?
Wasn't this like he was a conspiracy theorist or something? I don't know that I ever saw it, but I feel like he found some conspiracy and then all sorts of things ensue.
We're going to watch a Bill Gates documentary tonight. Mark listened to some podcasts on his drive yesterday, and it sounds like this is an interesting, I don't know. You know, the conspiracy theory stuff. It's like, I like to dip a toe in, be aware of those potential timelines. I don't like to go too far in. I don't like that dude's vibe. But should be interesting.
Dark City. I haven't heard of that one.
Dark City is something. It's a big sync. I think I do this to Mana's lives all the time. I accidentally sync them up. Dark City is like not a spoil. Like not to spoil. How do I not spoil it? Because I've never even seen the end. But essentially, the city's like aliens are interfering with the humans or something, but the city's like built in this way that's very similar to what I see, like what it's supposed to be like when we're creating reality.
That'll be fun. I'll have to add that to the list.
Hot as fuck, Kiefer Sutherland. I have a huge thing for Kiefer Sutherland. I did when I was a teenager. Everyone else was in like to the Coreys, you know, the Haim and the
Yeah.
And I was just obsessed with Kiefer Sutherland. Very difficult to find posters for my crush back then.
Very distinctive taste. I like it.
All right, this is interesting. Oh my God, I just took this, holy shit. I just took this compression sleeve off of my knee for the first time today. Damn, I'm just going to be scratching through this hole. It feels amazing. I'm a little bit scattered right now, if I'm being honest.
That
Hero is like a nice dark city. Lost Boys, Kiefer Sutherland is when I fell in love with Kiefer Sutherland. And then you go straight from that into, God, what was that movie called? Oh, the fucking Young Guns 2. So hot. And then he was in a movie with Dennis something where he plays like an uptight FBI agent. So fucking hot. Anyway, Gates a sketch. That's very true. Yeah, I mean, we can talk. That might give some fucking some structure to this goddamn live, because I have a feeling if I'm left to my own devices, it's going to be a mess. Oh no, Flatliners! Gotta get Flatliners. Kiefer, hottest Kiefer there was.
Oh, that's definitely getting added to the list.
Have you not seen Flatliners? That's
I'll do
very
that.
important because it reminds me of, like, cleaning up karmic cycles is what happens in that. Watch Flatliners, and then I'll tell you all my analogy.
Ah, awesome. I have been, wanting to rewatch The Man in the High Castle, because just listened to an old podcast. I say it's old, it's like a year old, of a guy who I think was a science fiction writer who interviewed his wife, one of his wives. Apparently he was married several times. And she was kind of talking about him as a person and how he was and timelines and how he remembered the future. And that's kind of like where his stuff or like alternate, like he was like
Yeah.
in this reality, but he was like aware of and tapped into timelines, like parallel timelines.
I, tried to watch that. My ex was watching it, and there was something I just didn't like the cast or something. I had a hard time getting into it.
It starts slow.
What is it? It's all
It starts slow. It's when
yeah,
like, once you get into it, it's like, I
yeah.
like it. But
I think
it is. I feel like all that stuff is like, it takes a minute. Like, you gotta commit.
I also have a thing. It's hard for me to watch like anything.
Yeah,
I have an
yeah.
extremely short attention span, and
Or a lot.
I really only watch things if a dude I'm in love with is watching it, and then I fall asleep usually. But I you have to really capture me in the first couple episodes, and the characters can't look too much alike because my eyes don't. If there's like multiple brown haired dudes in the show, I almost always lose interest in it because I can't tell what's happening because they all look the same to me.
What you mean? I know what you mean.
I assume it's the burnt macula, but um have you heard of the God, I need a mouse pad. Have you heard of the U code?
No.
Oh no, are we getting another rabbit hole right now?
Say more, please.
Um dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, I'd be curious. I don't know what that is.
I feel like I've heard of it.
Yikes. Yeah, I have my right shoulder and like my collarbone. It's fine most of the time, and then all of a sudden I'll have it just move it wrong and it's like, "Oh my god, is it broken?" It's just it's a hard no for me. Oh,
Yeah, I get a lot of those shooting pains. They're like Lyme, but also other shit. The U code looks interesting. It's about unlocking shit in your ancient genes. Your new life map hidden in your ancient genes. I googled U chode, which is something different.
well, that's okay. I'm Lortra or
Lortra.
Lorta, I think is the
Lortra. Lorta. I was cooking dinner and it took forever and was just fine. It was like mediocre. But I wanted to hurry up and get the link up for everybody. So I came in here and sent it and misspelled Lortra. And then
I dig it. I think it's fun.
okay. No, I
I do feel like I need
people call me that from
like
now on.
Lorta needs like braids or something. I feel like I need braids.
Let's see. Lorta. Yeah, that's a sick name. That's your higher self.
Is that my higher self's name?
Yeah. I feel off the rails right now, so I'm gonna talk about some downloads I got and we'll start there.
Sure.
So the aliens just started talking again like 2 days ago. So I think I was guideless for a month in that personal hell. And I think that that's pretty normal. And when I talk to people who are going through one of those phases, they usually feel like A, they've done something wrong, B, they've lost their magic, like whatever, but it is just part of it. And the more you can like learn to ride out bad trips as bad trips, the better for your own sanity. So I spent a lot of October, dealing with I usually feel pretty powerful and pretty optimistic and pretty sure that no matter what happens, I can face it, whatever. To have your body kind of be taken away and your vitality be taken away, it's like, oh shit, like I'm not invincible. I can't do all these things. And like right now, I don't even know where the goddamn aliens are. So I can't even like, who am I? What am I doing? Whatever. This is not my first void by a long stretch. And I get the aliens have gone away a million times. And usually they go away because I'm just refusing to, like, I'm just hanging out in Alienville all the time and not living in this life. And a lot of times I like lose that connection so that I can fucking remember to live. This was something different, but then, there was a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of, what do you call it? Like nihilism. Like, what's the point? Not sad. I wasn't sad. I mean, I was sad, but I wasn't like, it wasn't situational. It was just like, what's the point in wanting anything? What is the point in any of this? Like, what am I doing? Whatever. And I've like already landed there 1,000 times. And it's like, the point is it's a game and it's good that I'm not attached to anything. Now I can have fun. But I like couldn't connect to that. And the guys were gone. And I just know when shit's like that, just to kind of like wait it out, just let it do its thing. It always comes back. And it always comes back better than it was. So I just like have gotten better at sitting in it. I didn't used to be good at that. But anyway, they came back. My energy started to come back. Everything still hurts, but like I really kind of don't care about the pain if my brain's working, and it is. Energy's interesting. I'm having to navigate energy in a way that's like, there's so many words I can say a day. And if I say them all, then the evening, there's no words left. And I've never been like that before. I could wake up communicate all fucking day, and then like communicate until I pass out. And it's interesting because it really does feel like I have a tank of gas now that I'm aware of. And I'm like, this is so interesting. This is something that I used to have like as an unlimited resource. I believe it'll be an unlimited resource again in the future. I think I got a character limit for a reason. Anyway, I think a lot of us are on a similar path, manifesting different. Not everyone's having these physical things, but the imagery that they showed me 2 nights ago was we're all like on the ceiling, like having floated up, and we're like up against the ceiling. And the sensation of who cares, and like also just like so much awareness of like, this is why I'm doing this, and this is my projection, and this is what this will be, and it can happen like this, and also like that. It's like too much consciousness almost, and no mystery. And there is like a desire for mystery. There is a desire to have a package to open, a present to open. And like a lot of us have just hit a point where that doesn't exist. And that's not a value judgment on people who aren't there. It's literally not a race. But what they showed me was just like so many of us, like this is a big, we're in a huge shift right now. And this is like this thing where so many people have to raise their vibration before the collective goes up to the next thing. And so that exhaustion that a lot of us are feeling are people who've been hanging out on the ceiling, waiting for enough of us to get to the ceiling to push through. And they said that we are close to that. And then they said mystery will return in the next month. And so that is fucking tight. That is kind of what like January has felt pretty great to me in like, I don't know. There's going to be destruction and upheaval for years, but like, I think we saw the most that we're going to identify with. And for the most part, we're going to get to the internal work. And we're also there's going to be enough where we can build to move forward. So yeah, for those of you still stuck in that, like no mystery, what's the point? The other thing is set intentions. Have a fucking plan. You don't have to stick to the plan, but we get to you want to have a combination of like having a game, like setting intentions, set them for a year at a time, set intentions of things you would like to experience so that the server has something to do. Oh, I'm doing that hand thing. That the server has something to do, and then allow life to happen as it pleases, you know? I think we go from like trying to control our external environment to allowing whatever the fuck to happen without like setting an intention. So like, I just started planning dinners for the week because if I don't plan dinners, we end up eating takeout or frozen pizzas every night because I have a fucking plan. I can make a plan and then the night of be like, I don't feel like cooking tonight or change the plan or whatever. But it's the same thing with life. Like when you're just on autopilot, all life does is just keep handing you whatever you're reacting to in your environment. Hold on. What does this mean? Can you guys all see us? This is a cat going nuts on some sage right now.
Hey, kitty, kitty. Every time, every live stream. Oh, I love that the magic and the mystery, like, is what do I want to say? Like, it's there for a reason. Not having everything figured out or going into control mode.
Right.
In, I will intend this. I'm going to go back into my creator, like, and just being on it, just turning it into it. Like, what comes to mind is like turning it into an addiction of like, if I'm not controlling every single thing that I'm creating, I'm doing something wrong.
Right. Right. And then I feel like the other side of that is just like, just letting life happen. Without like, do you need me to scratch your face, man? Without, can you imagine being a cat and like not being able to just go like this when your face itches? I feel like
they seem to get by with like everything. Like everything is a hand to scratch.
This cat runs this house.
What's the cat's name? I feel like it's just another character here. Like
Finn, Phin. I think it means silver or gray.
Finn. Well, hello, Finn.
So I dreamt of Finn 10 days before I met Mark. Finn showed up in my dream and said, come get me. And then I knew it was my boss. And so then there is an Instagram story from 10 days before I met Mark. So I was like, whoever has the silver gray cat, I'm ready for it. And then I met Mark and I had been trying to buy it. Like I'd been trying to adopt one, like after that dream. And I kept like flailing the process because they were like, that's not the cat.
Have your dreams been more active lately?
Yeah. I'm back to feeling like I'm at work all night. I'm back to feeling like I'm at work all night.
Yeah. Mine have turned way up.
I'm not sure I'm remembering too much of them.
I get like a snippet that it's like, that's the thing. That's the.
Yeah.
Differently.
These are typos, but solar is interesting as a analogy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Huh.
Wow. Yes on dreams.
Yeah, I've been navigating like in and out of that that place of feeling like I have your brain fog. What happened? I'm like, it's so in the present moment. I'm like,
okay, so this is great. What happens if I am not and what's happening lately is by this time at night, my brain starts to shut down and I can't really communicate for the rest of the night. And so these lives are kind of tricky because some nights I'm just fine because I didn't communicate earlier. And earlier I was feeling good, but Tiara came over. And so we've just been talking each other's face off for a couple hours. So I was kind of like, oh, there's a good chance I'm not going to be able to talk. And then if I have brain fog and I try to do a podcast or a live with someone else who has brain fog, it shuts their brain down too. Like we both can't communicate. So this is not great. I don't know how. I've had to re-record an episode with Jessica because of it. I did a double live stream with them, and by the end I was just like shutting Aaron's brain down. I think it's like it's I don't know what it is. It's really weird. But anyway, sorry guys.
I'm afraid, like I feel like lately I've been running the energy a lot. I've just been kind of using my hands a lot in conversation. And then last week I was on a call with a client and I got smacked with it. They were like, no, this is not like your play toy to like do when you're just having a conversation with someone just for like the fun of it. Cause I got slapped with so much emotion. I literally just went, and I just like ran and just like had a meltdown. And I came back and I was like, hi.
Oh, wow.
Luckily it was somebody who understood, but it was like 3D, like earth shit that we were walking through and that kind of stuff. So it wasn't really, yeah, that was fun.
So much of this is like it's been interesting. I feel like I'm having to learn how to walk again, physically and metaphorically. Like I feel like what happened was I got taken offline and I had like a Windows netbook. And then they let me back into my office and it's all Apple products. And I'm like, I really fancy. I don't know how any of it works. And so I'm just taking it very slow. If I try to move too fast, everything shuts down. And I think because it's a very feminine operating system and I tend to operate in primarily masculine energy. And so that's what the gas tank it feels like. It feels like, okay, you lived off of masculine energy. So now you get this much masculine energy a day. You have to figure out how to operate in this game off of, you have unlimited feminine energy, figure out how that works. And so it's been really interesting to be like, I have to like receive things straight from the cloud and channel them because I can channel, you know. If I do that, I'm going to talk the entire time. But conversing is like I have a finite amount of that. And I have a finite amount of physical energy. It's really interesting. That sounds like a fun party. Oh, fuck, I forgot about the Orion Wars. I had a dream, I think it was about the Orion Wars. A couple of people from Soberish were in it. We were on a ship that was being searched by men with guns, and I was on the phone with Jessa. Damn. Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Because this is a potential for us to win the Orion Wars, I think, or maybe not. It's just an extension of it. What's happening right now is we are going, sorry if I just don't shut the fuck up. We are going from a unconscious, masculine, unconscious, fear-based, white masculine age into and picture that in your head as like, every time we start a new age, we kind of check like what the leading energy is, whatever. Like not superior, but just like, all right, this is the purple team's fucking age. What are you guys going to do? We didn't do great. I mean, obviously we didn't do a good job. And we're going into and it was an externally focused because it was unconscious. And then we're going into a conscious, love-based, Black, feminine age, which is like internally focused. So all the things that are shifting right now, which this is where I like the imagery from Dark City, is that the parts collapse and other things raise up, and it's like, this is what's happening in the game right now. We're trying to get from that to this. This is going to be so much better. However, this does bring up both the Atlantean wound and the Orion Wars, because the Orion Wars is this fight between the consciousness that believes that reality should be an internally controlled game and the consciousness that believes that reality should be an externally controlled game. So imagine it's first person shooter versus RPG. So there's all these energies happening at once. And what I got was that the shift already happened. I can't remember if I've already said this on here. The shift already happened. We're in it right now. And it's lining up with this like election shit, in that like what the old fear-based age is doing, because I do think they're doing a lot of shit to try to keep people asleep right now, is essentially what like Trump is doing, which is like, you already lost. This is like a bunch of like whimpery, weird, just refusing to concede. You could have handed the age over with grace, but you're clinging to it. And like that's to fear, that's to the actual powers that be, whatever. But like consciousness is shifting. We were just talking about like just social consciousness and how like problematic shows are that we're like, we didn't even notice were problematic 5 years ago. And like now you go to watch The Office and you're like, Jesus, I never watched The Office before, but I'm like, what the fuck? And they're all like that because we woke up consciously. Even people who are not talking to aliens and shit, like social consciousness, were like, can suddenly like see things that we were just like completely unconscious to. So like multiply that by the critical mass that we are experiencing, and we are in the absolute fucking shift of the ages right now.
Mm-hmm.
God, my throat really hurts talking right now.
Yeah, it's different. It's different going back and forth from the masculine to the feminine. And the message that I keep getting is to play. Like just go into it. Was it yesterday? Doesn't matter. Recently I got the message of frequency first, and it was just like impaired, like again and again and again, of before going into anything. Frequency first. Like, what does it feel like? Where are you? Which felt like really remedial for me, because I'm so fancy. But yeah. It just did. It was like, hello, we've gone over this. And then they were like, okay, play with it. They were like, okay, all right, sure, try it. So I was there and I was kind of like in a spin about something, and I was like, fine. So I went and I tried to do it, and it was like trying to lift something like really heavy, and like you think it's light and you just go to like do it. And it's like, oh, nope, did not expect that. I'm trying to like feel into that energy difference and how to like find that groove to shift it. It was interesting. And they were like, okay, just keep playing. Just keep playing before you do anything. Go in and play with that, because I could see the frequency levels of like, there's like cardboard down here and it's like really rigid, and anything built on this frequency will crumble and collapse. So you got to like go up, and it was like different thicknesses of paper. That's kind of how I could see it. And then up at the top was like this tracing paper. It was like filmy and really light and flowy. It was like, go there, like play, like feel the difference so that you can identify it and shift really quickly to be able to just go like, oh, I'm going to go to that floor and then we're going to build, because that makes it, whatever you're doing, creating, engaging in, it makes it more resilient. So it's like being on a waterbed
of what you're saying,
being like bolted into the ground during an earthquake.
Can you give me like a 3D example of that?
Yeah, just how you are feeling internally in your body before you go do a thing, make a phone call, have a 3D interaction, talk to your partner. Just how are you feeling? Do you feel that constricted, contracted place? And for me, like I said, I was like, oh yeah, sure, like this is easy. And it took me like an hour to like clear it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then finally, when I did, I felt the switch. And I was like, is this new? It
Yeah.
feels like there's like new energy to play with. So like that masculine feminine that you're talking about, it does. It feels like new. I'm like, why are you telling me this? We've already gone over this. But I
Yeah.
went to go do it and I was like, this is not working. Why is this not working?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I've felt the vibe. I know how to feel the vibe. Yeah, I don't
Mhm.
feel like anything is like naturally flowing. I feel great, but I don't think that like nothing feels like second nature to me right now. You know how when you first
Yes.
learn how to drive a car, you're like consciously thinking about it? That's how I feel in reality right now.
Yes.
I can tell it's going to be fucking sick once I figure it out. But right now, everything is definitely moving forward finally. But I am like, okay, well, this is different. I'm definitely having a different experience. And it's so funny because it's like, yeah, you just get to a point where you feel like you're hot shit and you like, not hot shit out in the world, but you're just like, yo, I'm crushing my own fucking experience. And then you level up and you're like, oh, okay, I literally don't know how to walk now. Real quick, anyone who is into IFS, do you even find future parts? I've been downloading all kinds of stuff from my future subpersonalities. No.
That sounds fun. I want to play with that. That sounds awesome.
I feel overwhelmed with my current parts, but all right. So,
I find that when I get information about the future and what's coming, my focus shifts to like I want that thing, so I lose presence. So I feel like sometimes I don't get what I want when I ask like tell me, tell me, tell me because they're like you're just going to do the same damn thing. Like just hold on.
yeah. Um,
Yeah, the frequency band. Like I hadn't ever seen them before. It was literally like something you could walk on. It was just like the floor, but I could see the different thicknesses of them. And I hadn't really seen it like as an overlay on reality before. So that was super fun.
um, 100, yes. Yes, that was the void. The void is like, I mean, other people might define it differently, but to me, it is well, this is interesting to think about, to be honest, because usually for me, it's like you level up and then you go into a dark night of the soul, like a valley of the shadow of death. And when you first wake up, you go through schizophrenia, essentially. You go through a bout of kind of schizophrenic energy right before you hit like the new level. This has been different. And so this is the void. You're like in between realities. So nothing in the solid world makes any sense. You're kind of disassociated from it. And the void to me just feels like non-situational depression. Is that how you would define it? Just I just don't exist. My avatar has been deleted and I didn't get a new one yet.
I really kind of feel like I'm walking around with that feeling of like right as you're falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just like you're going, and you know, sometimes when you're falling asleep and all of a sudden, like your whole body will just like jolt,
Yeah.
like it's not going like quietly into sleep. I feel like that. Like when people talk to me, it almost feels like that. Like like where am I? It
Yeah.
just kind of dissociated and it is. It's like nothing works. Why is nothing working? It's
Yeah.
like zap, zap. It's supposed to be able to
Void
do.
has been, I've never experienced anything like this before. I feel like usually when an avatar of mine dies, I'm like something situational is happening. I'm going through a breakup, I'm moving, I'm leaving careers, whatever. And I am like leaving soberish, but I'm like starting something similar. But this wasn't that. This was just like I just sat here while it died and very disassociated. But also Mars was retrograde, and I am next time a Mars retrograde is coming. I'm going to a fucking vacation house with a pool and a hot tub. I am clearing my calendar and I'm taking those fucking 2 months off. I'm doing nothing. I'm committing to nothing.
Sabbatical. Mars
Wow.
retrograde sabbatical.
Jesus Christ. This is the second time I got fucked by a Mars. And it's not, it's not to make it sound ominous, but it's just like my Mars is in Aquarius. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but like,
Were
God,
you born with yours in retrograde?
no.
Okay. My Venus was in retrograde when I was in my natal chart.
Mhm.
So when everyone else is freaking out in Venus retrograde, I'm like, this is come on in, the water's fine. Like this is my weirdness. Come on in.
Yeah, I don't think I have any planets in retrograde. I asked during this retrograde. My eyebrows look
Okay.
scary. All right. Some funny dream things here. Um, yeah, what's really interesting is that last year it felt like I saw this imagery of the gods like putting on their avatars so that they could play RPG first person shooter at the same time. And then this new energy came in of like people are like, no, reality is just first person shooter. And then there are other people who are like, no, reality is just RPG. And then we are like, why not both?
Yes.
Um, dun, dun, dun.
Hey, Michelle.
Listen, I can't dance. I don't want to hear it.
I love those reels where it's like this song and then it goes into like that little kid voice. It's like for me, it's literally like, what other people look like doing the like the divine
Yeah.
feminine connection in the knee, like me.
I think I know how to dance. I just like can't walk, I can't stand. This is a fucking
Hey, Roxanne.
this is a sync too, because we were listening to I Can't Dance by Phil Collins. For some reason, Mark and I were down a Phil Collins video rabbit hole the other day. Yes, the old-timey thing of grounding. So this is how I've had the best days. I get up and I juice a stalk of celery and 3 carrots, and I drink the juice barefoot sitting outside. And if I do that in the beginning of the day, my day has gone a million times better. There's definitely, God, what if this happens to everyone? Because there's something that happens from January to March where if you're not in tune with the energy of the earth and like that indigenous energy isn't leading the planet, it's just going to not work. And that's kind of what this new body feels like. It feels like if I am not syncing up to the earth, taking time to ground, which is never my thing, like I am never fucking grounded, that my body won't work. And I'm like, oh, okay, I have to do these things. What were you going to say?
Oh, no, it just reminded me. A friend of mine, Teo Montoya, started a podcast, Indigenous Futures, about sci-fi writing from an Indigenous perspective and bringing that forward. And he is a human design ninja. So I am so in love with his podcast, Indigenous Futures. Yeah.
That sounds
Yes, grounding. Grounding and earthing. For me, grounding is my energy practice. Not that it matters one way, but it's like my internal, like connect my cord to the earth, and then my crown up to my star family. And then earthing for me is what you described, is like going out like into the earth with like my physical body. So I'm curious to know, Roxanne, like which one, like I see them differently. Not that they're just
no, that's good. I'm still ungrounded then. I don't know. I don't get these references. Who are these people? Is this from Twilight?
Yeah, please say more. Is that a good thing? I'm gonna go with that's a good thing.
Well,
I don't know.
I'll let you know if I'm offended or I'm taking this as yes, this is Jesus.
Oh my gosh. I have been getting so annoyed. That's probably been the biggest thing that I've been having to wade through my own energy and just like keep clearing. It's just all the timelines because I'm like, okay, we're set. Like going here. And then it's like, nope. In my life, like things change, like in a day, I
Yeah.
can feel 3 different timelines like open and close. And I'm like, why the fuck did I get out of bed this
Why I
morning?
think we have to have a fucking plan. Because we all have this kind of passive, whatever is supposed to happen, but it's like, no, 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 you're supposed to create your reality. Let your reality unfold how you want it to unfold. But Mark and I have just been in this like, oh, we're here, and then it splits off to here, and then it splits off to here, and it splits off to here. And to a certain extent, because I'm someone who sets intentions and fucking lives that out, and then sets more intentions and lives it out. And to a certain extent, because we collectively, it was like, oh, are we going to do an apocalypse? I stopped setting intentions. I was like, well, I guess we're just going to see how this plays out. And then remember in August, the aliens were like, tell them to manifest, tell them to manifest. And I didn't manifest anything. And I do kind of like in short term, I create things that I need, but I didn't set like a year-long goal. I'm like not on a track. And so I'm just splitting to every timeline. Everything is possible. And if you don't have your perception pointed in a direction that you want to go, you get a little blip. I don't mean you, but like, we get a little blip and we go, oh, this is what's happening. And it's like, yeah, you can perceive whatever reality you want. Have a fucking plan. Somebody dies, you get in a car accident, like whatever, like those are part of your story. Like those things happen, but like have a plan. And I just wasn't doing that because I was like, I don't know if we're going to see a full societal collapse. We're not going to see a society collapse as like apocalyptic as it seemed like we were going to. We're actually lined up with what I thought was going to happen originally. I was actually astonished by how like in March, I was like, oh, we're going fast forward on this, like a very intense version of this. And it was surprising to me because in the big collective, we are very apathetic. We are very comfort like oriented. We have a very short attention span for the drama. We love constant drama, but we have a very short attention span for it. So we had some momentum for a minute and then we lost that momentum. So now the collective wants to do a lot more comfortable deconstruction of this that is going to be more about people waking up and just going like, oh, this is shitty. The entire game is shifting in a way. The billionaires will just kind of stop being that like that. Right now, this is the path we're on. Billionaires will just kind of stop being like that because there's no motive in it. It's just stroking their ego. They're not doing it because they want money. They're doing it because it makes them the king of that world. And soon that's not going to be rewarded anymore because society will go, okay, gross. And then they'll be like, oh my God, I give away the most money, and that's like overnight Jeff Bezos could change the entire like landscape of this country. So things are going to change. They're going to like change with that like Uranus fucking energy rather than that Saturn energy. So anyway, all that to say, make sure that we have a fucking path that we want to be on. Pick your movie, because otherwise that's this energy that you're talking about here, is that like we have to stop letting reality tell us what's up. We have to you should know what you want your love life to be. That's another person to be open to that. Where you want to live, what kind of money you want to be making, what kind of work you want to be in, what kind of thing you would like to bring into your life, what kind of stuff you should have an idea somewhere, and you should have set those intentions so that the waiter that comes to the table has a fucking clue about what you want. Otherwise, I started to say this earlier, but every time the waiter comes to the table, you're just reacting to your environment. You're most likely just triggering more pivots, or ordering a bunch of more shit you don't want. If every time the server comes to the table, you're like, I don't want to work at this job anymore. I don't want to work at this job anymore. I don't want to live with my parents anymore. I don't want to live with my parents anymore. If you haven't set fucking clear intentions, the server just comes up and goes, okay, weird. More of that, I guess.
Yeah. No, that felt, whew. Man, that's like moral therapy right
now. Do that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's actually a great description of how my body feels, right?
Yes. Yep, yep, yep. Even in the middle of the day. It does not wait until like at the end of the day. There are times when I'll just sit down. The other day, I just sat down. I was like going to eat something in the middle of the day. Uh, Other people call that lunch. I don't know. Uh, I just sat down and I literally just stared off into space. I was like, what is happening right now? And I have been like short circuiting and hit like old triggers. I go like past, like there is no amp up. I just go straight to red. And then I like snap out of it. I'm like, what just happened right there? And it feels like a thing that I like some like I don't know anything about computers, but like some bug that needed to be like cleared out of my system. And it's like bringing my awareness to it, but it's super uncomfortable in the moment.
Interesting. Yeah, I think we're all having these like really weird like body things. I think this is the DNA upgrade, and that's just it's just
Mhm.
how it's manifesting. But sometimes my body doesn't feel like my body. I'm like, whose legs are these? Huge weight fluctuations. It feels weird. Like it and I get that these are Lyme symptoms also. But um I someone comes and takes care of the kids 4 hours a day so I can work. And she's from the sober community. But um she got here the other day and I had jeans on for the first time in weeks and was like, I'm going to the grocery store. And like in 2 minutes, I was like, never mind, I have to take a nap. And was about to come in here and start the work of getting those pants back off. And then a surge of energy hit. And I was like, never mind, I'm going to the store. And she's like, I'm like, thank God. I wanted someone awake and like hip to the shit to come be here because I was like, it's all too weird.
I literally will do that. I will get up, I will walk to the door, never mind, and I will come back, oh, that over there. And then I will go, and I'm literally just spinning in the room. Like if anyone could see me right now, I'm literally just like, oh, oh, oh. Just going around in a circle. It makes zero sense. Yeah.
I remember last year when I was talking about Imagination Project needing to provide mental health services, or at least give people awake therapists to like give them access to awake therapists, because I was like, a huge number of people are going to wake up and then they're going to be slammed into 5D and they're going to feel like, okay, I've lost my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And what if everyone's going through this stuff and like they don't have these categories of reason? So everyone is in quarantine. Everyone's energy is crazy. Everyone's bodies are feeling nuts. Everyone's got brain fog. Like, what if this is happening to a lot of people? I think it is. And they don't have these categories of reason. So they're not like, my DNA is upgrading. They're like, oh, I caught dementia, since I've been home.
Yeah. Or mirroring that externally. You made me go cuckoo from being in quarantine. Yeah.
All right. I am skipping all this dream stuff. Yeah, man, it's been fucking rough.
Yeah.
Someone here was born with five planets in retrograde. That's fucking nuts.
Yikes. All
right. The thing that Mark talked about, overthinking all the possibilities and kind of killing them by anticipating all of them. How do you not do that? You can't, there's a finite amount. Man, how do you articulate this? When I was getting ready to do This Is Not Happening, I don't really get excited enough about shit to daydream about it anymore. But when I was getting ready to do This Is Not Happening, I would drive every day. I would drive a half an hour to get to this gym I took the kids to. And I would daydream about it the whole way there. I would daydream the whole 2 hours I was working out. And then I would daydream the whole way back. From the time I got the offer, which was in January, until like late March. And then there came a day, like I pictured everything. I pictured the way I put my hand on the pole at the beginning of the set. I just like daydreamed. I listened to music and I imagined how that set was going to go. And then there came a day where the aliens were just like, if you picture it one more time, you're going to fuck it up. Like I had imagined it enough to bring it into reality. But if I imagined it anymore, there's a thing where if you think about you imagine things too many times, you like get the whatever the brain chemistry hit, and then your brain thinks you already experienced it, and you'll like deflate that timeline. But that's kind of an intuitive thing. I really wanted that timeline, and that was a big part of something I had manifested. So it had like a lot of room for me to like imagine it, and the set went exactly how I imagined it. Now, sometimes when I want something, it just depends. If I'm really afraid of an outcome, I spend time thinking about that outcome because that fear is kind of an energetic gas tank. And whatever the energetic gas tank, if you desire it 30% and you're afraid of a negative outcome 70%, you're better off facing the timeline of the thing you don't want and draining it, and or spending more time imagining your favorite outcome. But if you're really scared of a negative outcome, I think you should spend time thinking about it and play it forward so you're not afraid of it, because that fear pulls timelines. And I don't really know how to articulate the difference between fear and anxiety, where when I'm afraid of something, I talk about it all the time. Like I have like a creeping thing in the back of my head. I think I must have lost kids in a car accident in a past life. And so it's been something that has like, I'm really like was nuts about car seats, and I'm like hard for me to let my kids ride in somebody else's car, and like, but I just talk about it. I'm afraid of losing a kid in a car accident. Like, it's better to say it than to push it right here, because right here your shadow creates things. We're trying to get to a place where our shadows are not unconsciously creating our reality. So looking at it and acknowledging it helps kill that, like collapse that timeline. So I'm not sure if that's like kind of what Mark was talking about, but
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And that moment of like waking up and being like, what was that? Who was just yelling? Why was that? Yeah. Yeah.
Lots of DNA upgrades.
Mhm. Yeah. And I've been feeling a lot of activity around my Alta Major. I feel like, did I talk about that last time? The Alta Major kind of opening and activations and stuff.
I don't think so.
That's something that I've been seeing a lot in sessions, is there'll be an activation there. So it's the chakra that's like right where your skull meets your spine. And there's a chakra back there that is where I see it like it's the place where Neo is plugged into the Matrix.
That's a sync. That's been coming up a lot. I watched like a movie with someone like jamming something in there. I did a reading with someone who had the alien show up and put something in there.
Yes, I've been getting a lot of activations to like clear things, remove things that had been implanted. I've been seeing where they'll create like a crystalline like plate to go over top of it. It feels like an air filter, like an alien air filter. So it'll become this like really big, amazing thing, and then it'll shrink down to really small and be back there to, yeah, to just kind of like help filter things out. But it is that place where the energy and the possibility and the creation comes in. And it's so interesting because it goes down the receiving side, hits the root chakra, and the energy comes back up the front side so it hits at your throat, and then it goes and swirls in your upper chakras. And it is that experience of being human. Like it's taking all of your information before it comes up to this to the higher chakras. So it's taking in all that information and going, oh, this is what you want to create. It's been really, really fascinating because that spot right there is where the RAS is, the reticular activating system. So like on the inside of your skull, right there at the back. And that's where your voluntary movement is. So you get the perception, and that's where you say, I will move over there and make that choice.
Wow. Is there a reason why okay, so when I did a reading for someone, she had an experience where aliens put like a ball or something in there. And what I got when I like this is back when I had that new superpower that hasn't come back yet where I could see things on a screen. Um was that it was her guides that did it to like she was activating too early. So they put in like the block to prevent the activation from happening. And then her guides had to show up and take it back out later.
It does feel like a modulator, and like I said, it feels kind of like an air filter to kind of like, yeah, like filter and sort of organize what's coming in. So instead of it being kind of coming in just as too much. And the mudras are super fascinating. I've been coming through in sessions. Everybody sort of gets their own. Yeah, I sent you some too. And the I know what they are, but I've never done a lot of study around mudras. And the information that my guides gave me was that it is light comes in and it's just white light. And if you are a crystalline being, so you can split the beams essentially and project the rainbow onto the wall of your consciousness. So like different mudras will help, and so far they all seem to be customized. I haven't noticed a pattern just yet, but that's been super fascinating, and it feels connected there. So yeah, and all of this, like back here, brainstem, that stuff, the RAS is right there with the brainstem.
Yeah, I have been spending an hour a day on a biomat with a weighted blanket
Hmm.
and listening to whatever like binaural beat kind of frequency thing comes up. And I noticed when I was just like putting my hands on my chest, they were like going into certain. I've never looked up mudras. I watched that thing from you, but then my hands were just kind of intuitively doing different things, and I was like,
Weird, right? They'll
yeah,
all of a sudden just, and then they'll just,
yeah,
and then they'll just, and like point to stuff.
yep,
I just did a session this past week where somebody got a full set. I was like, here you go, you got a full set. It was like all the different chakras. They did something very distinctly different and pointed like this one goes here and this one goes here
oh,
and
wow.
this one goes here. It's really fascinating.
The body is becoming such a spaceship. A lot of people having clients with this thing. Um,
Hey.
oh, hey.
Mm-hmm.
Dun,
Mm-hmm.
dun. All right. All right.
I've heard that before. Now I'm doing it. I'm like, hmm?
I know everyone right now together is like,
Hmm?
what's interesting is I didn't my dentures used to make it to where I couldn't do that, but now I can. Um dun, dun, dun.
Everybody has a different name. It's the zeal point. Yeah, it's the medulla oblongata. Yeah, can't say it.
This is funny out of context. What is this?
Yeah, I definitely am gonna need some more context for that one. Wrong. We're up here.
All right.
Hmm. So I'd be curious to know if it's been sore, just about bringing some awareness or some energy to it, just kind of feeling some energy and seeing if anything wants to move. If there's something that feels stuck, um, that would be my curiosity.
I've been getting these like tension headaches, and I need um I need Mark has to like like do this, and it doesn't feel like tension. It feels like like energy like flies out. It's like this,
Oh,
and then
wow.
here, and then between my
Mhm.
shoulder blades, and like I've been having to do the same thing to him, and it really does just feel like energy like flutters out the top of my head. Like it feels like it gets
Mhm.
stuck and crystallizes in those spots.
Hmm.
Um, all right, we're getting ready to wrap up. Where's Amy? Hi, Amy.
Hi.
Amy, we were laughing earlier about how everyone got Lyme disease here, and not laughing about that part. We were marveling about how that has to mean something, but we were laughing about I was watching the live stream where I got bit by the tick, and Mark pulled it out of my head, and then Amy was like, "Get that tested for Lyme, please." And I was like, "Oh, it's fine. It's fine." And then I got fucking absolutely wrecked by the tick. Everyone did. All right. Amy said, I count it as the 10th chakra, the astral travel location. It always looks like when people disembody and sleep, their astral body leaves from there. Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Um, there is jade, right? There's jade in my biomat. There is the purple one, fucking amethyst, jade, and tourmaline, I think, in that biomat. Um, all right. So
About the tick? That one again feels like it needs more context.
what?
Was that about the tick?
Yeah, just Amy's like, I'm gonna shit myself. Sorry, I'm late. Um, no, when I was talking about the tick, I think. Oh no, that's what we're laughing about, Amy. So we're laughing about here we are all at the house, and everyone's been bit by a tick. And Amy is like, there's something in this house that feels off. Like y'all feel like you're not in your, and I'm laying down. Like at this point, by the time she gets here, I've had it for months, and so I can't even like sit up. And I'm like, she's like, you know, it's like got a hold of Mark, and it's like what, and she's like feeling it out, and we're all like, this is a ghost, this is an entity, what is this? And I like I look up from the couch, and I'm like, is it why I can't sit up? And then Mark and I were just laughing that Amy was just feeling everyone had Lyme disease. And I was like, is this why I can't sit up? Is this why Mark can't
Just imagine you just like.
and yes, you all need antibiotics. Oh, that's good to hear. I actually forgot to do it today, so I'm gonna go do that right now.
Nice.
Tourmaline in your feet, like in my feet.
Yeah, check in for tourmaline if you're experiencing like the down effects, the void. Um, eh, check it. Feel and see if you feel that you need to get some of that energy off or if it's taking you down too low. Because I know that I can overdo tourmaline real quick. It'll just, and I just power down. And I've talked to a couple of people and they're like, yeah, I took it away from like my bedside table and now I feel like I can, wake up in the morning, that kind of stuff. So it's something that, yeah, it changed.
Tourmaline,
You could limit it.
jade. Amy, do you remember what's in my? It's amethyst, jade. It's mostly amethyst and jade, but there's something else in it. It might be tourmaline. It like takes your power.
It is grounding and earthing if you're busy and have a lot of anxiety, over hyper um, sensitivities, things like that. But if you are prone to the opposite end of the spectrum, or if you're in a season of feeling low, depressed, and you just got a little bit of energy and you're like, okay, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to go sit with my tourmaline. You're just tanking again because it's just absorbing.
Oh, so it's great to have it in a biomat. But do we have that next to our bed? I didn't even think. I just intuitively put rocks wherever I feel like there's a
Sit
place.
down the tourmaline, go slowly.
Sometimes I don't know. I don't know what any stones do. I just put them where I'm supposed to put them. But then sometimes I feel like I'm supposed to go chuck them into a body of water. Is that like get rid of them? Like bury them? I don't know.
I have buried the tourmaline specifically. Interestingly enough, I have done that on the property. But yeah, that mine usually just disappear. They do it of their own volition because I carry them around all the time. I like stick them in places and all sorts of stuff. That's what I just said. Like, step away from the toilet. Like no one hurt your tourmaline. It's not their fault.
Uh,
Oh, that's hilarious.
all right. I'd like to know more about your map thing. Are you talking about human design or gene keys? In which case, no, that's not Amy. That's Laura. Laura. It's so hard to.
Lorda.
Florida. Lord of the Rings. Ugh. I keep bad joking. It's so bad.
Oh,
I got it from Mark. I think it's so bad.
I love the yeah. I love the easy ones.
All right.
Yeah, real quick.
Huh?
I take them to mountains and bury them. Oh, I get so attached. And like I said, they just disappear. There's one that had a quartz point that I absolutely loved, and it walked away. I legit have no idea what happened to it.
Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah, I usually end up like just losing everything, but there were a bunch of stones that I brought for here.
Mm-hmm.
I just knew as I was putting them out, I was like, these are getting buried outside and not very long. They like fill up. And then there are some of them that I can like charge or whatever, but there's just something like, I don't know, like they're full hard drives. And the instinct, I haven't done it yet, but the instinct is just like return these to the earth, essentially. Like don't give them to someone else. They're full of your stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I haven't done it, but all right. So
I'm gonna go visit them. Like that would be me. I would just put like a little marker, like
yeah.
like here's my, and I like name mine. Like this one's Mama. She has a very lovely. You're right. This green thing is weird. I have a very yellow light, but it's like
Right.
pink.
It's very hard to like navigate it.
I'm like,
my hair.
where is this going? Yeah.
Look how cool they are. I love this thing.
Oh, yeah.
In this thing.
This
is
the blue one.
Um,
is that amethyst?
An amethyst for my birthday.
Nice.
We just do show and tell with our stones. We should do that.
Okay, let's do it. I have this little smoky quartz point. I feel like I'm on QVC. Like
we've got. I love this titanium sprayed quartz.
Aura quartz, I think they call it. Yeah, with the.
Just looks so spaceshipy. I don't know how much it feels like. I don't know what this is.
I have my
amazing.
I have a bunch that just literally look like they're gravel. Like
I'm digging unpolished stones right now. That's my shit right now. I used to like only like things that had that real like agate.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm really digging stuff that's not polished.
Yeah.
I love that.
Green, and this one's emerald, and like legit, I just look like I have a pile of gravel in my office.
No,
and it's awesome. And I go there's a guy that I get my crystals from, and he knows to like set aside like just the like the plainest, smallest ones for me. I'm like, no, I use these. These are tools. Like, make sure that they're like hand sized.
Oh, that's so funny. Yes, I feel like we should do a kind of a kindergarten show and tell thing where everyone brings their crystals and then when we click on the thing, then it's like, did you have a crystal you want to share with the group? A second. All right.
Name.
Well, I think the unpolished is like, right? It's exactly what we're moving towards. Like we're done with this airbrushed fucking five of us are beautiful, the rest of us are gross. We're all faking, we're all inauthentic to fit into whatever. A lot of people think we have chemistry. That made it sound like I don't agree with them. A lot of people trying to set us up on a podcast. Really hard not to make a raw dogging joke here. B10 mechanical likes it raw. Sorry, I just like couldn't. All right. Okay, bye.
Thank you. Good to see you. Hi, everybody. Bye.